Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds, and it's time to answer one very important question.
Are these commander cards worth buying?
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. Every single day, there's a new video, so we're going to talk about our support, which comes from patreon.com. There's a link in the description. You can join them, and we love you if you join as much as we can without making you uncomfortable.
Yes, and that's supporting us directly. There's actually 3 links in the description to support us indirectly. First one, tcgplayer.com. Go there using our affiliate link in the description below. You get to the website. Now you just do what you do normally. You buy all the Magic cards you were going to buy anyway, but this time, because you started with our link, the Nitpicking Nerds get a kickback. Same is true for Dragon Shields. They have the best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves.
So you can go there and buy those amazing sleeves. EU and US links in the description. Click it, buy those sleeves, boom, ship to your house. Now all the cards you just bought with TCG Player using our link are now protected. Same is true for these awesome t-shirts that you see us wearing every single episode. IntoTheAM description link.
If you want to buy them, though, you get 10% off with our link.
Yes.
So actual money saved on your part there.
And you will be supporting the Nitpicking Nerds.
You know who else supports the Nitpicking Nerds? Our sponsor, Moxfield. They support us, but we support you by surprising you with a mid-roll ad that you'll never be able to predict. And I want to wish everybody a happy birthday whose birthday falls on today.
All right, let's get into this video. The whole idea of this video is, are these cards worth buying for a deck where, A, you need the card? So when a card comes up, it's going to be like, hey, I have a deck that wants X card.
I'm in this archetype.
Is it worth buying at this price?
When you have the money.
Yes, I was just going to say that. And when you have the disposable income.
Yeah, because you know what that shuts down? Everybody typing in the comments, just use a printer, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very common.
That's actually impossible to stop.
You can't stop it. Somebody actually, now that they heard us say it, they're typing in the comments to be memey.
To be ironic, and I will pin it.
And it will be pinned.
Yes, it will be pinned.
Yeah, so you have the money, you have the deck it goes in. Is this worth buying?
Or would we rather spend the money on something else?
So every single one of these suggestions comes from our Discord user. So I'm going to tell you who the user is that suggested it so that you can suggest it. And if you want to join our Discord, there's a link in the description. So hop in.
It's free.
And be a part of an awesome, accepting, loving community.
Just like our first submitter, Dak, who's actually one of our mods. They said Ancient Copper Dragon is $57, but is it worth buying? It's a 6-mana, 6/5. If it hits, you roll a d20 and you make that many treasures.
All right. This one is really interesting because it is good, and it is high variance, though. So 57 is a lot. It's a lot of money. I've actually recently bought 2 of these for 2 separate decks, and currently I need a third for a different deck, and I haven't bought it. So I'm going to say no. I don't think it's quite worth the $57. Its power is fine, but it's wacky and cool and fun, and that's why I like it so much. I really enjoy these effects that add an extra layer of like kookiness to the game.
Yeah, this is like not even in the ballpark of coming close to approaching anything resembling me wanting to buy it. It's so expensive, and it's like not a busted card at all.
No,
it's like the same price as Dockside almost. I don't know on this one. This is really confusing. It basically just, this card by itself absorbed all of the prices of every rare in Baldur's Gate because there wasn't a ton in that set money wise. It's just not worth it. I don't even even if you're a Treasures Matters Dragon deck, I wouldn't buy this.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, maybe, no, see, okay, if you're exactly Treasures Matter Dragon, okay, I'm in for it. But regardless, I get what you're saying. This probably is not worth buying unless it's the last card you need for your deck. Like, literally, if you can upgrade your deck in any other way, do all of it first.
Yeah.
And then come back to Ancient Copper Dragon and maybe buy it.
I'd upgrade my mountains to snow mountains first.
Yeah, exactly. Literally do every little upgrade, get your deck exactly where you want it, and then consider the Ancient Copper Dragon.
Then consider it, yeah.
So it's no. The answer is no, it's not worth buying. Up next, Zopmaster from our Discord suggests Imperial Seal, currently $100. And this one, I think, is the hardest yes or no to answer.
Oh.
Because Imperial Seal, I don't know how good it is. The sorcery speed of Vampiric Tutor, which is obviously very, very good, like insanely good, is making it a sorcery worth it. And $100 is a lot. Now, if we're talking about comparing it to old prices, yes, it's worth it because its old price was like $1,500.
It was a nutso price. I don't know about this one. This is really tough. I know Vampiric Tutor is better, so obviously get Vampiric Tutor first. This isn't like the first card I would buy for any deck. I think I'm going to just say no. I think there's a lot of tutors, and $100, you could buy about like 2 other good tutors with this.
That's very fair. So I think this is another last upgrade. Like,
yeah, I would just wait. Like, this card's unlike Ancient Copper Dragon, this card's actually just amazing. It's really, really good.
I don't know if this card's I think it's good. It's definitely really good.
It's better than Ancient Copper Dragon by a mile.
Well, that is very, very true. Yeah, I'm gonna say probably no, unless you're highly competitive. Because it's in metas where you're not super competitive, you can just avoid tutors most of the time, and it doesn't really make that big of a difference. So yeah, unless CEDH, yeah, it's probably worth $100 because you're already spending hundreds and hundreds on dual lands. It's worth $100. Outside of CEDH, I'm going to say no.
And I haven't cast this Magic card yet, although I have cast the instant speed version. So CEDH players, let me know if that's making it into decks anywhere. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen Imperial Seal on a bunch of CEDH.
I could see it, right? I mean, if there's plenty of free ways to draw a card.
I don't know if it's good or bad, but I have seen it in decks.
Yeah, I want to wait till the price drops to buy this thing.
It's not going down any further.
It probably isn't,
It's
right?
reached this low. Like, if we're going to get one, we should probably get one.
Yikes. What about number 3? It's Javier0824. And they want to know about Ledger Shredder. Is this $23 1/3 that connives on the second spell cast each turn worth buying? Was that the longest sentence ever?
Here's something interesting. I think that all of these are at least interesting talking points. I went through and I do pick the good ones, but I think you guys in the Discord, you all just gave awesome
They're all
suggestions.
pretty good.
Yeah, so Ledger Shredder is a good Magic card, maybe even a fantastic Magic card. Everyone's double spelling, right? We talk about it all the time. If you're not double spelling Commander, you're not playing Commander, right?
You're falling behind.
You're falling behind, or your deck has a really high CMC that's going to pop off later. I really, really like Ledger Shredder. $23 is a lot. And I mean, I know it doesn't seem like a lot when we just talked about Ancient Copper Dragon and Imperial Seal, but $23 is still a lot. You can make a whole deck for $23. Again, love Ledger Shredder. Think it's really good. What do you think? Because I'm not sure where I'm yes or no. I got to figure out my answer.
I have played this card quite a few times now, and it's been pretty good almost every time. And I had someone borrow my deck, shout out to Tom, who played Ledger Shredder, and it got like 7 counters on it, and then he like Toxic Deluge, but like got to leave the Ledger Shredder alive because that's so much toughness. I would probably say this thing's worth it. You're paying like a stupid Modern and Pioneer tax on this card, but I wouldn't really be worried too much about it because it's going to perform pretty well, especially if you want to discard cards, which I'd have to assume you do. I wouldn't just put this in any deck. So maybe for this, since you have the money and the deck it goes in, I would say is something that wants to discard.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a generic card. You need synergies, right? You want to, like you said, discard graveyard strategies where you put stuff in your graveyard, you bring it back, all of that kind of stuff. It's perfect for. So yeah, I'll agree with you on yes at $23 because you've played it more. You have more expertise in this card. I trust you on it. I haven't played it yet, but it looks fabulous whenever I see it on the other side of the table.
All right, what's number 4?
Well, number 4 is suggested by the 4-color Ow Umbreon and Cadit. They both suggested around the same time. Currently $35, and it's Entomb. Entomb is 1 mana instant. Put any card from your deck, you search it, put it in your graveyard. Okay. Very good tutor. Instant speed. Sets up wins. If you have a deck for this, I think this one's easy. I think this is a yes. I think Entomb is an incredible Magic card. I don't think it goes in a lot of decks. I think it's a very specific card to certain, archetypes, kind of like Ledger Shredder that we just talked about, where if you want to discard, you want to reanimate. You want to reanimate, you want to have, Life from the Loam, Dredge, all these kind of little things. And then, Entomb is great.
I've cast Entomb quite a few times. It's a pretty good Magic card. If you're reanimating at all, you're going to now just cheat like 5 or 6 mana on the putting in the graveyard, and then whatever spell you reanimate with is probably 1, 2, or 3. So you're just cheating all this mana. You're putting one of the best creatures in the format in play for your opponents to deal with way ahead of schedule, or you're like triple spelling on a later turn and you go, oh, by the way, here's Archon of Cruelty. Oh, by the way, here's Elishnorn. And Entomb just lets you set up all that stuff. It's so good.
Yeah, and in your reanimation deck, it lets you skip a step, because if you have Demonic Tutor, but what you really want is, Protein Hulk in your graveyard, it skips that step. You don't have to put Protein Hulk in your hand.
It could be better than a tutor then.
Yes, exactly. In the right situations, it's better than a tutor, which is saying something. I mean, it is a tutor, but it's a tutor to your graveyard. I'm in. $35. This card is incredible. Absolutely 100% yes for me.
I mean, if you have like Unburial Rites or Dread Return in your deck, it's now also a reanimation spell because you just put it in your graveyard and then cast it.
I know that you're hyping up the card, but you got to give them a distinctive yes or no answer.
Yes, every single time that Entomb comes on this list, it'll probably be a yes.
Okay, that is completely fair.
Number 5 comes to us from Doyle, and it's Archivist of Ogma at $14. It's 1 and a white for a 2/2 with flash. When an opponent searches their library, you gain a life, and you draw a card. This might be the best card from this set.
It's one of the best cards from the set. It's currently $14. I think this card is really good, especially if you have fetch lands running around, which you do in a lot.
We certainly do.
We certainly do. Archivist of Ogma is totally strong. I've seen it draw 3, 4, 5 cards sometimes. And yeah, sometimes players might play around it. But unlike Opposition Agent, which players will definitely play around, players might play right into this because they'll be like, I have to advance my board state. It's good for me to just play my Rampant Growth and get my draw because I don't care if you draw a card.
Yeah, delaying their tutors is better the faster your deck gets because it stops them from winning the game a few turns. But if they're just going to play something else instead, this can be better than Opposition Agent in a lot of scenarios where it's like, oh, okay, I'm not delaying anything. I'm just going to draw 3 or 4 cards.
Yeah, I want to say the only meta the metas I'm not playing this in are lower power metas, where the only thing that's going to trigger this is like Rampant Growth and stuff. If only green ramp is going to be triggering this, that's where I'm not interested.
A little too risky.
Yeah, so that's not enough. But again, fetch lands.
Entomb, Imperial Seal,
tutors. There's a million things that trigger this. If you're the strong, once you get to like a 6 or a 7, you're gonna start seeing that stuff all the time.
This is an easy yes for me.
Easy yes. Just make sure that you're in the right meta. If you're in a low-powered meta, I'd avoid it.
It's really good. It's one of the easiest to play cards on here. I think it's a white staple, and it's probably the card of these 5 that we've talked about so far I'd put in the most decks.
Creature in a creature deck.
How about that?
Next, Melon, the Discord user, Melon, obviously. She has Cursed Mirror, currently $8. And this is a 3-mana artifact that taps for a red, but when it enters the battlefield, it becomes the copy of a creature and it gains haste until end of turn. I played this card. I did. And I wanted to give it a try and see what I could get out of it. It underperformed all the time. I was not happy with this card. And I know it combos with, BZ was saying, Astral Dragon.
Which
right?
caused it to recently spike. The Astral Dragon just came out.
And that's what spiked this card up to like $8. I'm not interested in this card. I really am not. I played it. I'm like mono red deck, where you have, the least choices. I put it in. It just didn't perform well. It didn't seem like a good card. Manaless stinks. We know this. 3 mana, tap for a color, any color, is not very good. You need something more with that. Here, there, whatever it is. This doesn't the little bit that you get here, I don't think is worth it, especially because it only taps for red.
Yeah, problem with me now, this card is a cute little thing, and then there's some cool stuff you can do with it, but you're never really going to get too much value out of copying your commanders. So you got to have other 99 synergies. It's not that easy to make this card cool in your deck, but the $8 price tag is just killing me. If this was a 50-cent card, I would say, yeah, go for it. Try it. Play this thing out if you think you have a cool couple synergies in your deck. But at $8, I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah. So, Chris, I'm going to say no. I don't like it very much. And there is situations where this card is good. And if you have a very, super synergistic deck, go for it. But I think most of the time this card is not very good. I think it's it's very overrated. I don't think it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't think that this is the upside we want on our 3-mana mana list.
Yeah, not here for $8 mana list. Number 7, submitted by Dan with an exclamation point. Cavern of Souls, $62. Sorry, Amber. It's a colorless land, but when it enters, you choose its creature type, and it can tap for a mana of the color to cast that creature type. And if you do, the spell can't be countered.
Yeah, okay, so $62 is a lot, but Cavern of Souls is a powerful card in exactly tribal decks, obviously. We're always talking about the decks where this does fit. Exactly tribal. But 62, again, this one, it falls into a category that I was talking about before, where I think it's a no for me, where overall, I don't think this adds that much. Maybe if you're in a super, if you're going to get counterspelled no matter what in your meta, okay, then this is way better. It's a last card upgrade for me. It's another one of those, if my deck is completely where it needs to be, 100%, now I'll do Cavern of Souls. That's the last upgrade.
Mana bases are so good in Commander that you won't even notice whether or not you have Cavern of Souls in your deck just based on how easy it is to cast your spells. The only time it's going to matter is when your spell would have gotten countered but doesn't, and then you won't even be able to know if that even happens when you're tapping Cavern of Souls because they won't counter it, and you won't even know if they had something. This is even more so than Copper Dragon. It's the last possible card I would ever add.
Yeah, unless you're sitting in that meta where everyone plays blue, then it's like this card's way more powerful. It's like if every single one of if you're gonna sit down, there's gonna be 3 blue players every time. This card's really good then.
Yeah, this is a card I will play in tribal decks.
Yeah,
but also like that I have those decks, like maximally tuned. It's like I know that I don't need any cards for him. I have them already.
Yeah, exactly. So again, I like this like last card upgrade thing where it's like this card isn't bad. This card's actually good and it does perform and do good things, but it's definitely not worth the price tag unless you're making your final upgrade your deck. So it's a no.
It makes your deck like when you have it in play, it makes your deck like 0.1% better. It's just it's better, but it's barely better.
Yeah, exactly. And $60 is way too much to spend. What's next, BZ?
Who's our next Discord person who submitted a card?
It's suggested by best deck building website on the internet. Moxfield.com is what they suggested. And they want to know, is it worth it at $0? Because it's a free to use deck building website. What do you think? I need your opinion.
This is tough. This is tough. For $0, making better decks because I have the tools to organize everything so efficiently, that seems worth it to me. I think I might use this for every single deck I build ever. Yeah,
me and BZ use it for every single one of our decks. And Justin, it's absolutely worth using. Seriously, if you're going to build a deck, you should do it on Moxfield.com. It gives you a huge advantage when you're building your deck. Seriously, you can see the curve. You can see, the average mana value without lands. How many lands will be in your opening hand on average. All of this stuff is just there. You build the deck, then you don't even have to click off that page. You scroll down. And all this information is just there for you.
Amber, if you don't think they should use Moxfield, just meow right now. That says enough.
That does say enough.
Use Moxfield.
Amber wants you to use Moxfield.com as well. All right.
What about the actual number 8?
No, the actual number 8 is suggested by 666 Zombie Cat. Amber, oh no. 666.
That is an internet username.
That is an internet username if I've ever seen one. And it's Tamio, the Moon Sage, currently $14. Pluses to ice something down, minuses to draw equal to tap creature somebody controls, and ultimates to basically win the game because it puts any card you cast back into your hand. This card's not remotely close for me. I don't think Tamio's a very good commander card. It goes in exactly Super Friends decks where you want to ultimate it, but even then it's not very good.
It's one of the clunky ones that doesn't do anything without doubling season.
Yeah, exactly. It might draw you a couple cards here or there. I don't think Tamio's a very good Magic card for Commander, and it's definitely a card I avoid in almost any deck. Like I said, doubling season Commander decks are the only decks I want to play this in. And even then, it's not that good. It's still just okay.
Yeah, anywhere other than Planeswalker decks, I think you should avoid this at all costs. It's cannot protect itself. It has no way to do that. So the best case scenario is 5 mana sorcery speed variant draw spell. You don't even know how much it's going to draw or if it can draw anything. Really not a fan of Tamio. I think she's one of the reasons we say we're not really scared of Planeswalkers. This isn't a good type. This is the worst type. The average Planeswalker kind of looks like this, and it's not even a card to me.
Yeah, where it's really good in 1v1 and then just falls absolutely into
rock bottom. I'm never going to play Tamio unless I'm trying a wombo combo with doubling season. And I don't know the full suite of Planeswalkers that are good with doubling season. Maybe they're better than Tamio anyway.
I'll say yes exactly in a doubling season deck. And no anywhere else. If you want any other deck that you're thinking about putting Tamio in, it's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, but if you're in the doubling season deck, you have a Deceiver Exarch, basically, where it doesn't really do anything. Unless you got that Splinter Twin, then it does something.
Woo! All right, next.
I got to do this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Number 9 comes from Bruh, You Farted. Very good. This is Noxious Revival at $7. It's a Phyrexian green mana for an instant. Puts a card from anyone's graveyard on top of their library. This is kind of interesting because I've seen it used to just time walk somebody's draw step, put a stupid land on top, or get your best card back in end step, or get your best card back and then draw a card and then play your best card.
Yeah, Noxious Revival's really good in high-power Commander. It is very obviously good. And yes, if you're playing 9s in CEDH, I'm in for this card every time. I'm not a huge fan of it below that. As soon as your power level starts going down, start approaching 7, 6s, I'm not really on this card that much. It's kind of a no for me, especially if you're on some sort of budget at all. But obviously, if you have the funds, yeah, this card's passable in almost all cases. It does do something.
It's kind of weird. What deck, though, would you say is the deck that needs this card?
The decks that play this card are going to be decks that have good draw engines. so they can put the card in their hand, and then you can just fix any draw you want. That's where I think you want
The
it.
commander draws a card easily.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. I mean, this one's interesting because I know this card is powerful. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't play it myself, but I'm not going to sit here and go because I don't play this card, it's bad. It's a good Magic card for sure. It's definitely worth $7. It is good.
Yeah. So we're gonna say yes on it.
I'm just yes, yeah.
But maybe double check that your deck wants it.
Yeah, I think less decks want it than people think, but it is very clearly a powerful Magic card.
Makes sense to me. What's number 10? Possibly the best username here.
I can never remember how to pronounce this. It's Subcutaneous, I believe. Subcutaneous Milk suggests Worm Coil Engine at $18. And now this is one that if you had asked us about 6-7 months ago, we would have told you, no, it's not worth it at all.
But what is a Worm Coil Engine?
Well, Worm Coil Engine is a 6-mana, 6/6 artifact creature thingy, and it's got lifelink, it's got death touch, and when it dies, you get a lifelink and a death touch worm. Now, before when we were talking, what I was saying a couple months ago, 6 months ago now, I think.
At least.
Yeah. When we started playing lower power, when we were in higher power, this is a bad higher power card. I think it is awful. If combos are coming, don't play Worm Coil Engine.
It's just stats.
It's just stats, but
it's good stats.
It's really good stats if you're playing in a meta where combat matters. It's 100% a yes if you're in that meta. Worm Coil Engine, I think, fits in a ton of different little strategies. It's a great reanimation target. It's even great to just cast because it's not too far out because it's at 6. I've just been a huge fan. Any synergy with the artifact. I'm a big fan of Worm Coil Engine and decks in combat metas.
Yeah, we have multiple decks now that are wildly different from each other, and they all kind of play Worm Coil Engine.
They just spam it. You just spam Worm Coil Engine. It's one of the best things to reanimate, especially if you're... it turns out in combat metas, life gain is really important, and this is one of the best synergy ways with any deck that's going to reanimate and stuff to just add in, some life gain.
Like you have it in a ninjas deck because it's good to cheat out and hit immediately and gain the 6 life. I've got it in a cost reduction deck because it doesn't cost any colored mana, so you can reduce it really easily. And then I also have it in a Brutaclad tokens deck because it dies into tokens.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Worm Coil Engine, absolutely yes at $18. We've done this exact series 8 different times, so go check out part 8 of the series if you want to see what we say about these other cards. Peace out, Tribe Scouts.